let's talk about the world of Wonder Woman. So much fun. It is so much fun. You just kick ass like you always do. How happy are you that people are finally getting to see it?
Super excited. Super excited. You know, the movie, we shot the movie back in 2018, and the movie was ready to be shared almost a year ago. And we just kept on pushing and pushing because of, COVID. And the fact that we're going to share it with everybody right now for the holidays, during the holidays, is the best feeling. I'm so happy.
Is it a political movie?
No, I don't think it's a political movie. I think there's some political elements just because it's the nature of the world and we're dealing with some subjects that can easily be, connected to politics. But the movie is not about politics. The movie is about something about something that is much more simple. It's about truth and the power of truth, and about hope,
Isn't that about politics today?
That's what I'm saying. It's a mixture of everything. I think that politics is a side effect of everything because it's the world that we're living in.
Right.
But it always comes from it always starts with us, with the people, with humanity, and then it diffuses all the way up to politics and the people who controls the world.
What do you say when you hear people say that Maxwell Lord is Donald Trump? And I'm just going to say that one line. He says, I'm not a con man. I'm a television personality and a businessman. How could we not think it's Donald Trump?
It's interesting because when we shot it, we didn't really think about it until we got to the White House. And then we're like, but it all started, Maxwell Lord has so many different versions in the comic world, in the comic books. And I think that Patty and Dave and Jeff, the writers, really took Gordon Gekko's personality. Mm-hmm. But the thing about Maxwell Lord in our movie, unlike the comics, is that he's more complex because he's not just a villain, an even evil villain. He is a regular person who wants to be all these things that you would think that you would see on TV and all of that. And I think, and I know from Pedro while we were shooting the movie, that at a certain point, he just focused on the page and what was there. And along with Patty, they just created this character. But we never tried to mimic anybody else. We never tried to mimic Trump or anything.
And is there a message in the movie of careful what you wish for?
Yeah, that's what it's all about, really. Because again, we're living, back in 2018 or even 2017, 2018, before the script was written, Patty and I already discussed the story for this movie while we were shooting the first Wonder Woman back in 2016. Okay, so back before we knew anything. But and we felt like the Wonder Woman saga should be like the Bible, like she should have a Bible. So the first chapter was about love, and this was the birth of a hero, the first Wonder Woman, humanity, and all of that. And with the second one, when we discussed the plot for the second one, we already felt the world was going to a dark place, and we wanted to touch upon that. So, of course, as someone who gets to make these type of movies, we know that we have this opportunity to use this huge tentpole and this huge IP that is a household name everywhere. And we want to have an added value for it and not just make a movie that is entertaining, but we always aspire to have like a profound message that we believe in. And this is something that Patty and I are super in line with. Like from the very first moment we just sat together and we're talking about life and what's important and how we view the world and all, we're super on the same page. So with us, we just wanted to use this tentpole and try to maybe touch upon people's heart and remind them of what we believe is important. And I think that in the past, few years, truth and fake news and all of these issues had been a hot potato, a hot topic. And we wanted to touch upon the place where when is it too much? When are we really like, we just want more and we're not thinking about what's the cost of our want,
right?
If it makes sense.
Well, one of the things that I kept thinking about is, the movie's coming out now. If the movie came out when it was supposed to, we would be looking at it through a much different lens.
Prism.
It
I agree with you.
really changes.
Isn't it crazy?
I feel like, obviously, critics of Trump, people who don't support him would look at it before the election as really scary. Like, oh my God, the world could be like this. Where now, after the election, knowing that Trump's not going to be in office anymore, it just takes on a different vibe. Does that make sense?
I feel like the movie, regardless of Trump, I think with everything that happened just in the past year, we could have never anticipated how relevant the movie would be. Because now when everyone had time to reflect on their lives, and we've all been suffering from this pandemic and its implications on our lives, I think that we're more connected to our deeper selves. We're more connected to our compass, our inner compasses. And that's why I think the movie has the potential to hit on a very, loud nerve.
Yeah. Now I have to talk to you about the 80s, because I'm a child of the 80s. I noticed they didn't put you in too much 80s-ish. You had some of the high pants. I saw some shoulder
pants and shoulder pads.
I was going to say some shoulder pads.
And big hair.
Oh, the 80s were
and
bigger hair than
liner.
The 80s were bigger hair than that.
Good stuff from the 80s.
See, I'm from New York. I'm from Queens. Hair was that big. Not that big, that big. Like Aquanet.
Different standards.
But I noticed, they put Kristen Wiig, they put her in the whole aerobics thing, but they stayed away with that with you. Was that on purpose, do you think? Or you tell me.
Yeah. We felt that Diana should always look timeless.
Right.
So we wanted her to look timeless and to look elegant, but to look like she's, in the 80s. So we were very precise about her looks.
And how much did you laugh every time Chris put on when he put on the parachute pants?
I used to it. He loved it. He's the only one who can pull off this look, honestly. But in real life, he actually got himself his own fanny pack. And he used to ride bicycle around the sets or locations, wherever we were, and come visit us. And he completely looked like someone from the 80s. He loved the whole fashion and style that at the time, he was using it for his personal life. And it looked good on him.
He's a method actor. That's what it is.
Exactly. His method.
When did you find out that Warner Media, wanted to put it on HBO Max and in the theaters at the same time? When did those discussions start?
A few weeks before we announced. That was, it wasn't an easy decision, but we started discussing this a few weeks before the announcement.
Were you surprised then when they made the further announcement that all the movies were going to HBO Max, that, people like Christopher Nolan were not happy and saying that filmmakers weren't being treated fairly?
Yeah, they're right. Yeah.
So you knew about everything.
No, I had no idea about the entire slate for
Right,
2021. The discussion that we had was personal only about our project. But yeah, I was surprised by the announcement as well.
Do you think doing things like this, I know it's only supposed to be a year plan, but people are going to get really used to watching movies in their living room.
I'll tell you what. So I remember when music became super accessible on Spotify and Apple and all of that, everyone were worried that what is it going to do to the concerts and everything. Whenever there's a good concert of an artist that I love, I would always prefer going to the concert. There's nothing that can replace the experience of being there live and hearing it in the right volume with the atmosphere and all the people and the crowd. So that's how I feel about moviegoers as well, because I remember a few years back, someone showed me a research that out of all the population of the world, only 11% of the people go to the cinema. And they are the movie lovers, okay? It's not a big percentage when you think about it. And I don't think that's going to change. I think people still want to have the full 360 event of enjoying, a movie in the cinema. So I think that's going to be back. I think that the whole pandemic kind of accelerated what the streamers were already about to, where they were already heading. But I'm convinced that once the pandemic is over, it's going to be the theaters will be back to self. I just hope that they have the ability to survive until that happens.
So when do you start shooting number 3?
I don't know. It's interesting because it's all together. We don't talk about it yet. We have no idea. You never know. I would love to do another one if the story is great and with Patty, of course. But I don't know. We'll have to wait and see.
Patty has talked about she wanted to take a break from working on it because she wanted to see the impact of COVID-19 on the world. So it'll be interesting to see where that goes.
Yeah.
Because we want to see a third movie.
You want to see a third movie?
Yes.
Huh? I want to see a third movie too, to have like a nice closure, a trilogy.
Who said closure at number 3? Number 4, number 5. Zack Snyder cut for Snyder. Boy, do I keep saying that? I'm a Jew. I should know these things. Let's talk about that. How excited are you that the world is going to see his version of the movie was going to be?
I'm very excited. I'm very happy for him that he got the opportunity to show his own version of the movie. So I'm super excited and I can't wait to watch it.
Now, did you have to do any reshoots with him, or he was able to take everything you did and you're all good?
No, I was all good.
How easy is that job?
I know, it's the best, right? Didn't have to shoot one more day. Crazy.
And Warner, announced that they finished an investigation into Justice League. Were you part of that investigation at all? Were you surprised there even was one? And are you happy with how they said remedial action, which we all, of course, don't know what that means?
I don't know what that means either, but I know that they've done a very thorough investigation, even just by how much time I spent with them. And yes, I'm curious to know what's going to be the outcome.
And then Ryan Reynolds and The Rock.
Yes.
Okay. They're like two of the biggest pranksters, jokesters. What did they do to you? What did they do?
Honestly, we didn't do. It's funny because we shot the movie. We started the movie back, I think, January of this year. And we were shooting for a few weeks and then COVID hit and we halted everything. So when we came back on August or September, it was such a different environment to be working on. They're the best and I adore them and I loved working with them. but we shot in such crazy, the entire crew had to be sequestered and had to be away from their families. And just the atmosphere on set is always filled with tension because people are so worried about COVID and everyone looks like spacemen because they're wearing all the PPE and it's crazy. So we had a lot of fun working on the movie, but we didn't prank. We felt like there was no room to be too goofy because the time was serious. But I'm so happy we got to finish the movie because it's such a weird feeling to start to shoot a movie and then stop for 8 months. So I'm happy we got to finish it, and I'm so happy that I got to do this movie with them because they're the best.
As a crazy action?
Yes, there's some crazy action.
So how much your life in the military prepare you for all of this action work?
It didn't really. One would think like military, it sounds so, what you would think it would be. But honestly, I think that more than anything, the fact that I was a dancer for 12 years before, that's what helps me with all the stunt work, because it's all about learning the choreographies and the timing, and it's all about the movement. So I think that's something that really helped me.
Did you ever get hurt playing Wonder Woman?
Of course. Okay, let me tell you this. Now I can talk about this freely. But when we premiered with the first Wonder Woman, I had just had Maya. She was 8 weeks. And it was right after we finished shooting Wonder Woman and Justice League, had Maya, had a major hernia in my back. So the whole 6 weeks of the press that we did, I couldn't sit. I could only lie down or stand up. So if you go back now, when you see all of my interviews, I'm always standing.
I remember that.
Mm-hmm. And when the movie premiered, finally on June 6th, I think it was, I was in the OR getting my back fixed, okay? And on this one, I hurt my neck and my shoulder. It comes with it is what it is. It's such a physical role. Like the physicality is another character that I have to play, that it has its toll.
So the herniated back was because of Wonder Woman, and then you have a baby.
Wonder Woman, Justice League. So I shot the two movies for over a year. So it was both of them and having a baby, boom.
You are Wonder Woman. You literally are Wonder Woman.
I don't know.
Great seeing you. Stay safe.
Thank you, Marc.
Be well. And we'll see you next time.
Bye. Be well. Be safe.